Can I make Thrulls good in Commander? Let's take a look. Thrulls haven't been relevant since the early days of Magic. Thrulls are basically sacrificial pawns. They are bred to die. The new Thrulls in Magic were printed all the way back in the original Ravnica block in the Guild Pack set as part of the Orzhov Guild. More have been printed in each Ravnica set, but most never saw serious play. Thrull typo is arguably bad in the current MTG climate. So, starting with the commanders of this deck, we have partner commanders Tevasat, Doom of Fools, and Yoshimaru, Ever Faithful. Yoshimaru is only there for the color and a proxy Thrull that I can sacrifice with Tevasat to get card draw. So I came up with the idea for this deck while browsing a bulk card box at my local game store, and when I came across a stack of Thrulls. I was inspired to try and make them relevant again, to make a commander deck that can hang in the modern world of Commander. So let's take a look at the deck. Starting with the lands, I've included 12 swamps, 7 plains, Bojuka Bog, Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, Restless Fortress, Shambling Vent, Scoured Barrens, Temple of Silence, Shine's Shadow Snarl, Godless Shrine, Isolated Chapel, Caves of Qleth, Contested Warzone, Myriad Landscape, Reliquary Tower, Temple of the False God, and Vault of the Archangel. In alphabetical and CMC order, we have Blood Pet, Thrull Parasite, Basalt Thrull, Morning Thrull, Adaptive Automaton, Armor Thrull, Mindstab Thrull, Mirror Entity, Neckrite, Thrull Wizard, Absolver Thrull, Mauve Obsidat, Thrull Champion, Brass Herald, Exhumer Thrull, and Treasure Thrull. So being that this is an Orzhov deck and Thrulls are made to die, going with the Aristocrat strategy seemed like a great idea. So these are the non-Thrull creatures I've included in this deck. Starting with Viscera Seer, Vran, Executioner Thane, Zulaport Cutthroat, Ayara, First of Locthwain, Falconwrath Noble, and because Thrulls, Edric Sar, Master Breeder. Let's talk about mana ramp. In Commander, cards that ramp your mana production up are seriously important if you want to outpace your opponents. Now, starting with the best ritual in Magic, Dark Ritual, we also have Mana Vault, Soul Ring, Wayfarer's Bauble, Arcane Signet, Mindstone, Orzhov Signet, Thought Vessel, Ashnod's Altar, and Thran Dynamo. Cards are the most important thing in any game of Magic. To keep the cards flowing, we have Skullclamp, Argul's Bloodfast, Norn's Wellspring, Sign in Blood, and Takesha's Welcome. I cannot stress this enough, run spot removal. When people tell you that a card still dies to removal, these are the kind of cards they are talking about. Bloodchief's Thirst, Doomblade, Go for the Throat, Kabira Takedown, Sheoldred's Edict, Anguished Unmaking, Utter End, Zot's Will, which also doubles as a Thrull token generator. Now, I'm running some incredibly powerful enchantments in this deck, starting off with Circle of Despair, Dark Prophecy, Anointed Procession, Breeding Pit, Death Pit Offering, Grave Pact, No Mercy, and Black Market. Now, because this is a slow to win deck, we'll use board wipes to slow down our opponents and ensure we can make it to our own endgame. Torment of Hailfire, Crippling Fear, Cleansing Nova, Hour of Reckoning, and Necromantic Selection. Bringing creatures back from the yard is definitely necessary in this style of deck, and in general. We have 3 such cards, including Ascend from Avernus, Victimize, and Haunting Voyage. Next, I've included a couple of tutors and a single protection spell that doubles as a land. Sejiri's Shelter, Profane Tutor, and Grim Tutor. Well, that's the whole list. Let's talk about the strat. Like I mentioned earlier, this is an Aristocrats deck, which means you'll be doing a lot of sacrifice effects to steal life from your opponents, using cards like Ashnod's Altar, Circle of Despair, Viscera Seer, Maw of Obsidat, and Iara First of Locthwain. Those sacrifice outlets combined with cards like Vran, Executioner Thane, Zulaport Cutthroat, and Falconwrath Noble, which all steal life upon creatures dying, Vran and Cutthroat only when your creatures die, and Falconwrath when any creature dies. Iara, First of Locthwain, also steals life when she and another creature enter the battlefield. With Grave Pact out, we can pretty much guarantee our opponents won't have any creatures on the board. Anointed Procession and Breeding Pit, along with Tevasat, will provide a continuous supply of Thrulls to sacrifice. Black Market will generate us crazy amounts of mana given enough time. Dark Prophecy will keep our hand full along with Skull Clamp, better than the rest of our draw effects. An early No Mercy will keep our opponents at bay and give us time to set up. With our Anthem style effects like Death Pit Offering, Adaptive Automaton, and Brass Herald, we can actually swarm our opponents with large amount of token generation. Now, having played this deck in several games over the last week, I'd like to point out some strengths and weaknesses. This deck recovers quickly from most creature-based board wipes due to token generation and our commander being a planeswalker. Circle of Despair is an absolute nightmare for decks that win through damage. You'll almost always have creatures on the field to sacrifice to it. One-sided board wipes can even be worked around by sacrificing creatures in response and targeting creatures that would attack you. This deck has a lot of removal. You should have very little trouble taking out problem threats. Now, Thrulls are bad. They are really bad. Don't go into this thinking that Thrulls are meant for anything but fodder. This deck only has one answer for graveyard shenanigans, Bojuka Bog. If your meta has a lot of graveyard-based strategies, I recommend adding more graveyard hate. Trample. Trample is dangerous for this deck since Thrulls have very low toughness. Cards like Craterhoof will wreck you. Now, Flying is even worse than Trample. You have one flyer in this deck. The only way to deal with flyers and tramplers is to remove them. So, can I make Thrulls good in Commander? We're not going to make an impact at a competitive table. In fact, I've yet to win a single game with my Thrulls at a casual table either. But the casual table has a different goal than just winning. The turns are brisk. You're never hogging all the table's time piloting this one. No one expects Thrulls to show up, so it's a fun experience for your opponents, and their presence alone can be a cute memory for the people you are playing with. It's a creature type that won't intimidate anyone, but it has enough spice to impact the game and can even squeak out a surprise victory. I can make Thrulls good in Commander. Well, that's the deck. Once again, there is a link to the full deck list down in the description. Also, if you like my content and want to support this channel, subscribing and hitting that like button are absolutely key to helping me move along. I really would like to be able to monetize my channel by the end of this year. I am almost halfway to 500 subscribers, and I still need to hit 3,000 watch hours by the end of the year, but we're really hoping we can hit that goal. Once again, thanks for watching Qleth's Bag of Decks. I hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll see you again in the next one. Bye-bye.